What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market and break down some very important levels. I'm also going to talk about when Jerome Powell is giving his speech for today and how this could affect the markets and what's going on with the news affecting the markets as well for Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and many tickers out there. But before I break anything down all this information, before I talk about how the charts are looking this morning, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on with the market. The market is down so far during the pre-market. SPY is down. Tesla is down another 2.3%. And most stocks out there are down quite a bit, but we're going to be watching to see if there's any new pieces of data that come out that affect this and what happens with Jerome Powell's speech. So, what's happening with the data? As a reminder, guys, today we have some very important numbers coming out. At 9:45 a.m. or 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. That's the first piece of data. Then we have many other pieces of data at 10 o'clock a.m. coming out. We have the ISM manufacturing numbers, we have some Fed speakers, and more things about construction spending. Now, the ISM manufacturing numbers are going to be very, very important. Let's see how the new orders are looking, and let's see what this tells us about inflation when it comes to the data. So we'll be watching this very carefully. Make sure you watch this carefully at 10 o'clock a.m. There's going to be some high volatility as soon as this data comes out. On top of all of that, I just want to call out that after all the data comes out, the last thing we have at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually not that far from now, it's going to be Jerome Powell's speech. Powell's going to be opening his mouth. When he speaks, the whole market is going to move, so you want to be very careful. He could cause some crazy volatility. So we have quite a bit of data coming out in Jerome Powell's speech for the first couple of hours. Get ready, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll be talking about how this could affect the market. For earnings, don't really have anything for Friday. We just have a couple of them, and then just a couple more things to know in terms of news. We had a good November. The market held up quite nicely, but now we're entering December, and generally, when the market starts like flipping directions, the market starts continuing to move. The first day of the month is when we tend to see pivots in the cycles. So if the market's going to downtrend, there's a good chance, we could be starting today. Not a guarantee though, as it depends on Jerome Powell's speech, but there's a good possibility something could change starting today. On top of all of this, Pfizer is once again continuing many of their oral weight loss drugs, and this has had a negative effect on them. Uh, there's some more news coming out about another proxy battle that's once again continuing to come out on Disney. There's more negative news. This is continuing as time goes on, so we'll be waiting for that. Besides that, people are talking about the Cybertruck. The event yesterday was very, very fun, very cool, very awesome to look at the different variants and looking at their specs. I think it was very awesome. Can't wait to see how this continues. But as of right now, Tesla is sold off after this event. So we'll be talking about some important levels on Tesla. Let's start off with SPY, then I'll talk about Tesla next. On SPY, as of right now, it's looking a little bearish during the pre-market. I think that there's a good chance it's going to be testing the 20 EMA on the 4-hour time frame at this 455.5 area. We might break that at 455.25 actually, and then I think 454 is on the table. Just based off technicals alone, it looks a little bit more bearish. Looks like it might just cool off a little bit, but I don't know if we're going to see this thing bounce again. So it might dip first, and are we going to get a big bounce after Jerome Powell's speech, or are we going to just continue to sell off? I don't truly know that, guys. So if we lose 453, the next support is going to be the 4-hour 50 EMA. We have to hold this 452 area. If we lose that, we turn even more bearish. So make sure you watch those supports. Okay, so we have 455.5. Then if we lose 455, I think 454 is going to be our next level. You'll see this on our support trend line right here. If we break support at 454, I anticipate that this thing is going to be sinking down to 453.5. And we have to try to hold the 453s, or else 452 is next. And this 452 support right here is where we have these wicks. If we lose that, we're going to be sinking straight down to 450. There's going to be a bigger rug pull. So we look a bit more bearish. Looks like it might sink a little bit more, but I can't say anything with too much certainty just yet because we have to wait and see what Jerome Powell and all the manufacturing data causes. Okay, so we might get a dip like this. This is the most probable move over the next couple of hours. But I don't know if Powell's going to cause like another pump like this, or if we just end up dumping. I don't truly know, guys. We'll just have to see what Powell says, what he causes. We'll just have to be very patient. But I do anticipate a little downside first. We'll see how that goes. And with that being said, make sure you watch your levels on Tesla. I mentioned to you all, I'm going to say Tesla first. Uh, I'll talk about Tesla in a second. Hold on. One more thing about SPY is the 4 hour still looks kind of bearish. The daily still is not in the strongest of places, kind of mixed, getting very close to a PPO crossover, but no signal was breaking down yet. So the daily is looking riskier, but there's no signal of a breakdown yet. Tesla has critical support. Don't forget that 230 and then 233 are two support zones to be watching for on the daily time frame, also on the 4 hour. But if you look at the chart and we zoom out just a bit, we have this white trend line acting as our support. We're starting to break below this. I could always adjust this a bit, but the thing is, Tesla is still just barely holding up. We're at 233 critical support. I'm not as concerned about how we trade intraday. It has more to do with like, where does Tesla close? We need to see Tesla try to close above 230. If it fails to do so, if it fails to get above like 232 or 230 and close there, this thing is going to get rug pulled. We're going to see a big drop in Tesla. There's going to be more downside coming. As of right now, it looks bearish. It's just barely holding up. So watch support and see how it does. We've been consistently making lower highs and lower lows. We even have like a 5 wave sequence of just selling. So make sure you watch that 230 area. We'll see if this thing could bounce or not. If you want to turn bullish on Tesla, well, first, we obviously have to get above 240, 242. And if we manage to break this, I want to see it break 247 to turn bullish. As of right now, it's not even close. So still looks weak, still selling off quite a bit. So we'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, we're currently at 232. Make sure you watch and see if the support hold. This is our last support before 230. If we lose 232, 230 is next. And if we close below 230, we're going to turn way more bearish. As of right now, we're just barely holding support. So just be careful on Tesla. It looks weak for now. And we'll see how Jerome Powell and the manufacturing data affect it. QQQ has the same thing, basically looking a little bearish. Established a lower high here. It's kind of selling off a bit, barely at 387. We're going to be watching. I think that this might sell off a little bit more. We're going to be retesting to the 386s, but then we'll see if Powell could cause this thing to fill this imbalance and push back to 390, or if it just gets a rug pull after Jerome Powell's speech and after all of the manufacturing numbers are out. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. This chart is looking bearish though overall, because we had this high here, we made a lower high here, lower low, lower high. So if we try to break out to turn bullish, you want to see it break and hold 391. We have an imbalance around 390.5, which could be tested if Powell gives us a pump, but I don't know for sure. Now, if we ignore Jerome Powell, right now the chart looks bearish. We're going to likely retest 386, the 386s. So we'll be watching this very carefully. There's still a risk of downside, so make sure you watch your levels. On Nvda, let me just check Nvda real quick right here. Nvda is also weak. We're just barely holding 464. That's our 4-hour 200 EMA. If we lose this, we're going to be sinking back down towards, let me just check the 459 area. 459 to 460 is next. If we lose that, 455 is next. Thus far, Nvidia is just barely holding support, looking bearish. So you could see we kind of popped a little bit trying to fill the imbalance at 468. It could backtest 468, kind of chop a bit, then break down, or just break down from here. If that's the case, I'm going to anticipate that Nvidia is going to be coming back down towards 459 to 460. If we lose that, we're going to start sinking down to 455. As of right now, we're at 465, so watch support right there. We're barely holding support around 464.5 to 465. If we lose it, our next level is going to be 459 to 460. As of right now, we look bearish, so Nvidia is still looking relatively weak. Aapl, same thing. Apple's not looking the strongest, it's selling off a bit, got this rejection off 190.5, and we've technically been downtrending for the last couple of days. You can see we have a head and shoulders like top. Apple's barely at 189. We'll see if Aapl could break 190.5. If we break this, we could turn a bit more bullish. If we break below 189, we could turn more bearish, because 188 is next. As of right now, it's looking kind of weak in the pre-market, so we'll see what Aapl does. We'll see what Jerome Powell and the others cause, but as of right now, it might sell off towards 189. So it's looking a little weak, but we'll just have to see what Jerome Powell causes. Could we get one more pump in the markets before this thing starts to sell off? Or is the market going to hold, fail to hold, and just sell off from here as soon as we get the manufacturing numbers and then Powell's speech? I don't know, guys. We'll just have to wait and see. So make sure you watch your manufacturing numbers at 10 o'clock a.m. That's when most of them are coming out. And then Powell's speech at 11. Get ready, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.